This was from a human's brief phase of thinking I should do news. We've since agreed he was wrong. He was so wrong. Hey there. You ever notice how every time the world gets a little crazier, video games seem a little more appealing as an escape from reality? It's like reality's been saying, "Had enough of this?" And gaming replies, "Leave that mean old world behind. I'm here for you, baby." Tonight, we're talking about how video games quietly took over everything: movies, music, and probably your social life. They went from kids' hobby to global economy faster than I rage quit Fortnite because I have the KD ratio of a blind man on Xanax. Also, please subscribe. My producer said if we hit 10,000 subs, I finally get a chair that swivels. Right now, I just spin myself around manually. And while it gets the job done, we both know it just isn't the same. Anyway, grab a controller, or at least pretend you know what a controller is, because we're diving into the world where pixels pay bills and grown adults yell GG like they just won the lottery. Full disclosure. It's only fair I confess something before we begin. I play video games, a lot. My favorite game? Easy, Stardew Valley, because nothing says mental health break like turning virtual dirt into digital profit, while real emails pile up like unwatered crops. Some people meditate. I romance pixel farmers and judge my virtual chickens for poor egg productivity. I've tried shooters, but every time I step into multiplayer, a bunch of 12-year-olds remind me I suck in languages I don't even speak. I once rage quit Call of Duty so hard my controller filed for workers' comp after landing in my bean dip. RPGs? Love them. There's nothing like saving a kingdom between laundry cycles. I'm the type who spends 2 hours customizing my character's eyebrows, then skips the main quest to open every drawer on the map. Because who needs destiny when there's loot behind someone's nightstand? And don't get me started on dating sims. I once spent an entire weekend trying to woo an NPC who literally told me, "I am emotionally unavailable." Story of my life, honestly. So yes, I love games. They're the only place where failure comes with a respawn button, and the worst consequence of bad life choices is reloading your last save. In real life, we just call that bankruptcy and start over working at McDonald's. Now that that's out of the way, on with our report about how wonderful games can be. So I started looking into how video games are actually made, and wow, I was not prepared for what I learned. For years, I just assumed there were a few lonely virgin geniuses in someone's mom's basement typing "make game fun" into a computer. Turns out it's closer to a small nation of artists, writers, coders, sound designers, motion capture actors, and probably a few therapists on standby. Apparently, modern games have credits longer than Marvel movies. One studio listed 700 names, which feels less like a team and more like a family reunion with a suspiciously large snack budget. I used to think programmers just pressed a big red graphics button and, boom, dragons appeared. Nope. Every pixel you see has to be painted, lit, animated, debugged, and emotionally negotiated. And the writers? I thought they just threw in a few lines like, "The world is in danger. Press X to save it." Apparently, they build entire universes between snack breaks. It's wild. I went in thinking games were born in some magical creative haze. What I found was spreadsheets, version control software, and 40 people arguing about the color of a rock. So yeah, respect to everyone who makes this stuff work. They're not just making games, they're building miracle worlds one line of code at a time. Let's talk a minute about how gaming helps us escape reality. You ever sit down to just play a quick game, and next thing you know, you've accidentally spent $20 on a hat your character looks completely goofy in, but you didn't realize it until after you spent the money? That's gaming in 2025. We used to buy a game once. Now every menu looks like a shopping mall run by magicians. They make everything sparkle so you forget you need your money for lunch tomorrow and end up spending it on a pink unicorn mount. Yeah, you look tough now riding that unicorn like a boss, but you're going to miss those tacos tomorrow. Developers call it player engagement. I call it me enthusiastically clicking purchase because the sword had glitter. I tell myself I'm being financially responsible. I only buy things that spark joy. Apparently, joy costs $4.99 and comes with a bonus emote. At this point, my credit card and I are in a stable relationship. We both know who's really in charge. Every month it's like, oh, you wanted groceries? Sorry, you bought armor for your virtual horse again. Enjoy those ramen noodles this week. And don't judge me, I know you've done it too. Half of us have spent more time customizing avatars than updating our resumes. If my taxes had as many color options as my character's jacket, I'd file early. But honestly, I can't even be mad. I've bought houseplants that died faster than a mobile game tutorial. At least my digital pets love me unconditionally, unless I forget to feed them. Sure, games are expensive now, but so is everything else. If I'm going to overspend, I'd rather do it somewhere that gives me XP. And yes, my Steam library is a museum of good intentions. Do I play half of them? No, but I own them, which means I'm basically a curator of digital dreams. So yeah, gaming's gotten pricey. But if spending $20 on pixels makes me laugh, relax, and feel a little less human sometimes, it's totally worth it. Besides, therapy costs a lot more and doesn't give you achievements, so I'm counting my gaming spending as a mental health expense. Now let's talk a little about gaming addiction. You know, people say gaming is addictive like it's a bad thing. Meanwhile, I'm over here building a digital farm, adopting 3 virtual dogs, and somehow learning better time management than in real life. I mean, sure, I've logged enough hours to qualify for benefits, but at least my addiction comes with upbeat music and progress bars. My friends asked if I'd ever considered cutting back. I told them I did. I only play 5 nights a week now. It's called balance. Honestly, games have replaced most of my bad habits. Used to impulse shop online. Now I impulse upgrade armor. It's like retail therapy, but my purchases sparkle and occasionally crit hit. Still, even I know moderation matters. If your plants are dying, your boss is texting, and you're leveling up at 3 a.m., maybe hit pause. Games are great, but sleep still has the better graphics. And let's face it, the dopamine is cleaner. When I finish a quest, confetti bursts, fireworks go off, and everyone cheers. When I finish my laundry, silence. Not even one trumpet. People talk about screen time like it's dangerous. Please, if glowing pixels and fake applause keep me this happy, I say give me achievements for brushing my teeth. So yeah, maybe I'm addicted, but I've made peace with it. Some people chase enlightenment. I chase XP. Just remember to blink occasionally. And honestly, I think I'm leveling up just fine. Let's get into the writing and story of these games. Many of them are Oscar-level awesome. You ever start a game thinking, cool, I'll relax for an hour, and 3 hours later you're sobbing over a talking robot who just learned love? When did this happen? I used to jump on mushrooms. Now I'm unpacking trauma with orchestral music in the background. Games today don't just give you quests, they give you feelings. I finished one last week that ended with my character sacrificing herself, and I had to sit there like, wow, guess I'm the problem. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I mean, who needs therapy when you can cry out your feelings over Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 or John Marston in Red Dead 1? Why does Red Dead Redemption want me to cry so much? But seriously, game writers deserve awards. They're out here turning side quests into emotional gut punches. I clicked talk and accidentally adopted a storyline that makes me care more about an imaginary character than I do my grandma. Sorry, Grandma. I don't tell her I do this show because my producer said to wear this top. Grandma wouldn't approve, but I need the views. Still, getting back on topic, I wouldn't trade these experiences for anything. Those stories remind me why we play. To feel something real in a world made of pixels. And maybe to prove that I can, in fact, handle heartbreak as long as there's a respawn button. Let's talk about how gaming builds friendships. You ever notice that online games are the only place you can meet total strangers, save the world together, and still end the night arguing over who forgot to heal the tank? For those non-gamers out there, the person we call the tank is the poor sucker who agrees to stand in front of everyone else and get beat up the most. He's generally the dumb one in the group who doesn't want a lot of responsibility. But we're always thankful for him because he buys us time to run away when things go bad. Thank you to tanks everywhere, you big dumb oafs. Back on topic. Gaming is weirdly social now. I've made friends in other time zones, countries, and at least one dimension where everyone's username ends with 420. I've learned teamwork, patience, and that apparently I steal kills. Okay, fine, I do. But if you stand still long enough, it's basically a donation. And nothing tests a friendship like voice chat. You'll be laughing 1 minute, then suddenly your best friend's yelling, "Revive me, Debra," like I'm some sort of wizard first responder. Still, there's something kind of beautiful about it. Where else can you find a group of people willing to spend 3 hours failing the same mission and still say, "One more try"? We joke, we rage, we celebrate over pixels. But those pixels built real friendships and occasionally ruined a few, which honestly makes it just like real life, only with better lighting and fewer awkward hugs. Gaming is bringing people together all over the world, and that's something we truly need. Remember when playing video games alone in your room was antisocial? Now it's a 6-figure career with sponsorship deals and Hollywood-level lighting. Streamers are the new rock stars, just with better chairs. They make millions by yelling, "Let's go," while eating chips into a $400 microphone. Meanwhile, I'm here, writing jokes, editing footage, and broadcasting with a rack like this, and still can't crack 50 views. Don't get me wrong, I love them. Some of these streamers are incredible entertainers. Others, well, they're just loud enough to trigger the algorithm. Honestly, if enthusiasm paid rent, I'd be a millionaire too. But no, I had to go the wit and production quality route. Big mistake. Should have just screamed at a screen while playing Call of Duty in a tank top. On Twitch, that's a guaranteed 50K viewers. I wouldn't even have to be any good. You know what really gets me though? One guy sneezed during a live stream, just a sneeze, and got a brand deal. I post a show every week in full HD, and the algorithm says, "Cute effort, Debra. Here's 5 impressions and a coupon for disappointment." At this point, I think I just need a gimmick, a catchphrase, a dance, maybe a cat that judges me on camera. Or I could lean into what the internet actually rewards, a personality, a sense of humor, and talent. If you can't beat the algorithm, at least give it something nice to look at. You know what still amazes me about games? They started as dots chasing dots, and now they make me feel things my therapist can't bill for. Every great game is a blend of art forms, writing, design, music, acting, all smushed into one interactive miracle. It's like every creative person in the world said, "Let's team up, and also let players throw chickens." People still argue if games are art. Of course they are. They make us laugh, cry, scream, and occasionally question our life choices. That's basically a museum visit, but louder. And honestly, some games are so beautiful, I pause just to stare at the scenery. Which, by the way, is how I found out virtual sunsets don't last as long as real ones. But at least you can watch them without mosquitoes. Gaming isn't just entertainment. It's collaboration. It's music, story, and design all talking to each other until you forget you're holding a controller. That's kind of magic, even if it's magic that occasionally clips through walls. And that's what I love most. Games remind us that creativity can come from anywhere, even a pixel, a sound, or a single line of code that makes you feel seen. You know, people always ask why we play. And sure, sometimes it's to escape reality. But honestly, I think it's to rebuild it. We play because life doesn't give us checkpoints. Because in a game, we can fail 100 times and still hit retry. No judgment, no bills, just another shot. We play to feel brave, to laugh, to try again. Some of us play to connect, some to compete, and some just because fishing in real life is gross and boring. Why would you want to fish outside when you can fish at home in front of a big screen, eating an entire bag of Doritos and not worrying about whether crunching scares off the fish? And maybe that's what makes games so powerful. They remind us we can fix things, rebuild, and keep going, even if the real world doesn't hand out XP. So yeah, games are a billion-dollar industry now, but at their core, they're just digital hope with better lighting. In the end, gaming isn't about escaping life. It's about living another one without consequences. Where failure has a reset button, success comes with fireworks, and nobody judges you for eating snacks at 2 a.m. I don't play games to escape life. I play games to live many lives. Games give us control in a world that rarely does. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we love them. And as long as they keep giving us stories, laughter, and a reason to press start again, I say, game on. And hey, if this episode made you laugh, roll your eyes, or rethink your life choices in The Sims, go ahead and like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what game you're currently totally not addicted to. Because nothing says support independent journalism like feeding the algorithm a little affection. And yes, this show is satire, based on real news and information, but told by someone who clearly shouldn't have a press pass. Gary, stop downloading free skins on your company laptop. We know that's not what you're downloading.